and gentlemen, we'd now like to present the first Impact Fund Award to Dr. Rajiv Lal for the India Impact Fund of Funds.
Ronnie, thank you very much for this. I just wanted to say that this is just to mark the launch. I expect that we will really reap the rewards when we deliver on the fund. So this is the start of the journey. But the expectation is that we will raise $1 billion to do two things in terms of enhancing the agenda for impact in India. The first is to help build and deepen the financial infrastructure for impact investing. So a big gap in India is debt financing for social entrepreneurship. Interestingly enough, we have quite a lot of equity. So the fund will invest in specialized financial services companies that provide debt to social entrepreneurs. It will also incubate and nurture, I hope, wholesale financial intermediary that will be dedicated to facilitating blended finance in India. So to that journey, thank you very much for this encouragement, and we will continue from here.
Next, we would like to honor Dr. Armel Karboul for the Education Outcomes Fund for Africa and the Middle East.
Thank you. Oops, very high. As I said last night, in less than 6,000 days, we will have 1 billion young Africans entering the job market. And if nothing changes, this will be the least educated cohort wandering cities looking for jobs, which could mean insecurity, instability, and mass migration. We won't let it happen. By paying for learning outcomes, we will unleash the entrepreneurship and innovation of the entrepreneurs and the civil society. We are achieving systemic change by showing governments what works and what price. And by transforming this developmental challenge into an investable opportunity, we are attracting money from the capital market. So these 1 billion young people will be the innovators, the leaders, and the activists of the 21st century. Thank you.
Next, we would like to honor Ashish Dhawan, the India Education Outcomes Fund.
India has the largest school education system in the world. There are 260 million children between 1st and 12th grade. But when India took the PISA test in 2009, not every country took the test, but we came second last in the world, just ahead of Kyrgyzstan. This was a wake-up call, but the bad news is that over the last decade, despite all the efforts, despite the fact that the Indian government spends $75 billion a year on education, learning levels have flatlined. There has been no improvement. But there is a ray of hope. We have a set of service providers in India, entrepreneurs, who are showing impact at small scale. We have a sense now of how to do system improvement. And there are state governments in India and the central government that's actually interested in driving learning improvement as opposed to just focusing on inputs. So the time is ripe to actually mobilize capital into this new format where we can bring about greater accountability and drive pay for performance because the ecosystem exists here in India. And if we can solve the learning crisis in India with these 260 million kids, 200 million of whom are falling behind, we can solve the learning crisis that the world faces. Thank you.
And last but not least, we'd like to honor Alejandro Proich from the Latin America Impact Fund of Funds.
Well, Rajiv said that this was to honor the launching of the Fund of Funds in India. This, for Latin America, is the pre-launch. But a couple of things. Latin America is a region that is very well known by many as probably the land of missed opportunities. Promised land, but so far has not delivered upon those promises. We want to change that. We really believe that the impact economy is there to change this reality. That's why we in the group that we are putting together to launch the Impact Fund of Funds for Latin America, we definitely believe that we can make this change happen. And yeah, some people tell us that this is very tough. But you know what's tough? Is the way that millions of people live, like my friend Coco, a waste recycler, who learned to read at the age of 42 and now is signing agreements with companies like Coca-Cola or Pepsi to take the recycling material that they produce. And he says, and this is very important, that he's not recycling waste, but he's recycling lives. So on behalf of Coco, thank you very much, Ronnie, for this.
Please join me in thanking all 4 of our honorees. Photo. I think there's a group photo.